Good afternoon, good evening, everybody, and welcome to round 2 of BMW Race Driver Series, coming at you from Phillip Island. We began our season last week at Road Atlanta, where we saw plenty of drama, plenty of action, 2 different race winners across our 2-race inverted grid format, and a completely different type of racetrack today here just south of Melbourne. You'll see it all live right here on the Global SimRacing Channel. My name is Ryan Jones. Alongside me tonight, the Scotsman, Peter Mackay, Joe Peake behind the scenes, and Dougie Beard providing all of the cameras that Joe's using today. And let's have a look at our GSRC track guide then around this phenomenal circuit.
Welcome to Phillip Island. As the name implies, this track is located on a splotch of land off the south coast of Australia near Melbourne. While there's been plenty of racing here for close to a century, the track's current incarnation has only been around since the late 80s. And this version is a doozy. With only 12 turns spread across the roughly 4.5 kilometers, it's a decently fast circuit. But what really makes this place stand apart is the incredible variety in those few corners. From negative to positive camber, early apexes, late apexes, blind crest, hairpins, sweepers, if you name it, it's probably got it. On top of that, the front stretch tends to offer up a slipstream with its incredible length, but it then forces the drivers into a game of chicken by chucking them into the frightening doing. Corners like Lukey Heights stretches a car's grip to the limit and then shocks you with a sudden downhill braking into MG. Retaining something of an old-school twist, unlike most modern courses, Phillip Island has earthen embankments running along many parts of the track. While it's meant to keep the cars safely retained within the circuit's confines, anyone unfortunate enough to manage to jump them will be faced with a ton of damage for their troubles. A variety of types of racing take place at the track, including motorcycles, lower-level open-wheelers, and touring cars. Possibly the most well-known among those is the Australian Supercars Championship. With the Aussie reputation of having dangerous, difficult, and challenging circuits, Phillip Island certainly holds up to the standard. The beautiful views of the beach and the ocean may lure some of the fans in, but there's no doubt that the incredible racing at this unique track keeps them around.
A look there at Phillip Island, finishing off over the top of Lukey Heights. What more do you want to tell us about this island racetrack, Peter?
Well, I have to say, for me, this is about as good as it gets for racetracks anywhere in the world. Of course, Phillip Island hosts the MotoGP World Championship every year, and also the incredible V8 Supercar Touring Car Championship as well. But today we go racing with the BMW M8, and I'm sure this will be a beautiful combination as well, as we see the drivers tearing down the Bass straight down toward Doon Corner. An absolutely incredible circuit. Phillip Island follows the natural curvature of the land, very fast, very flowing, and lots of overtaking opportunity as well. So I will be honest, I am very much looking forward to this one, Ryan.
As am I, and as always, it's not possible without some very important people. Big thanks go to the team at Express Hydraulics, who import and stock a wide range of hydraulic accessories so you can get what you want when you want it, and Griffin Excavation to provide you with a professional and experienced digger operator ready to help you with general earthworks, landscaping, drilling, trenching, driveways, and site clearing. And you want to get your company involved with the Global SimRacing Channel? Well, with over 1 million impressions each and every month, what an opportunity it is to get your brand seen by a very large audience indeed. Head to the link in the description to find out more. Let's take a look at how our championship stacks up then after one round of action. It's our results basically from round 1. Of course, over 2 races, Sabo does emerge with a 24-point gap, winning race 1, coming home second in race 2. James Anderson second, McCartan third, Nathan Anderson and Matthew Giantini 4th and 5th. Note our race 2 winner not in that picture because he DNF'd from our first race, which gave him that pole in race 2. And what about our race details for tonight, Peter?
So, tonight we will have 2 25-minute races. So, 2 opportunities for our drivers to get into victory lane. At the moment, the driver's in an open qualifying session, looking for a bit of bit of open air on track to get a fast lap time around this Phillip Island circuit. Round 2 of a 10-part series with these beautiful BMW M8 GTE machines.
And that's not the best way to get around what looks like the Southern Loop. Currently, Rahali fastest by a quarter of a second. Sabo sitting in second place ahead of Matthew Griffin. Another 10th back, James Anderson and Stefan McCartan, your top 5. So very tight from second on downwards. Rahali just elevating himself slightly clear of the field at the moment. What can Joshua Andrew do? This is his 10th lap of the session. He comes across the line and he doesn't find an improvement. Only 300ths away, though, from what he's done so far.
A beautiful paint scheme there from Taylor Cockerton. That's, I think that's a Super GT throwback paint scheme there. Very, very nice. Bright, bright orange. So that'll be nice and easy for us to spot on cameras there, Ryan. See him coming around the final corner, winding the power up, winding up all 560 horsepower of this twin turbo V8 over the line. What can he do? Oh, not bad. 1 minute 26.349.
We know Cockerton's got pace. So last week he had the issue where he was barrel rolling multiple times down the straight after turn 5. You know, generally a sign your race isn't going well. And then he had to unfortunately finish last due to that. But it did give him the pole thanks to the full field inversion ahead of the second race. And he used it very nicely. He even had the safety car backing him back up to the field after he pulled a gap. But again, he drove away and fended off Sabo, who was charging very late on. So look out for him if he can stay out of trouble in both races today. David Lawrence, 24th, and will stay there with that effort. A couple more cars than we had last week, which is good.
See, this is the thing with an open qualifying session, isn't it, Ryan? That you've not got that. You've not got the luxury of having the track to yourself. You've really got to try and get that free track. But also in certain circuits, you do have that slight benefit if you can follow a faster driver. We certainly see it when the motorcycles come here to race at Phillip Island, where that toe-in qualifying is very, very important indeed. As we see Nicholas Lowndes coming over the line, and I know what you're all thinking. I thought the same. No, he is not the son of 7-time Bathurst winner Craig Lowndes, but he is a SsangYong Ute driver. So there you go.
Sabo here, championship leader, one of the favourites he's got to be for the championship, along with Gene Rollinson, who's our reigning champion, winning the first ever season. Half a second slower than his previous best on that one for Sabo. We'll go through a few stages of drivers on cooldown laps, warm laps, and things like that. Hopefully not the same as we saw last week, where 9/10 of the field managed to not set a lap time in the last 5 or 10 minutes of the session due to the strenuous off-tracks, it would seem, at Road Atlanta. Not a place I normally associate with harsh off-tracks, but they were proving it so. Royce Rollinson then. What can he do? Currently he sits in P14. His best time was a 1 minute 27.288, and this is not a fast lap. He gets out of the way, and that allows Nicholas Lowndes to go by him, and it's also going to give Taylor Cockerton a handy little slipstream out of turn 12 and down this main straight. Careful not to let the car run out too wide as you grab that grass and kill your momentum. See what times they do. Nicholas Lowndes wasn't an improvement. Taylor Cockerton wasn't an improvement either.
Yeah, we'll need to call him Caravan Cockerton because he is right there in the toe. He's got the toe hook on and he is in the perfect spot to follow the driver in front to try and get a quick lap time. And oh, that's the toe hook's come off. Oh, dearie me. So Cockerton will have to do it all on his own. Hopefully that won't have distracted him too much as they head around the amazing Stoner's Corner. Very, very fast left-hander, and before you've just got around it, all of a sudden you're going to get hard on the brakes for the Honda hairpin.
Taylor Bryant, 19th. 127.745. He's going to narrowly go quicker, and it actually gains him a position. Callum Pratt, a 7.30, falls behind the 75. It's a good effort from Bryant there. He can find another 0.2 of a second. He'll move up another spot.
Incredible lap time from Jeff Rahali, the only driver underneath the 1 minute 26 barrier. That is absolutely rapid as we see. Let's get Liam Matheson over the line. What can he do? 127.8. Yeah, and of course, must be something to do with Jeff Rahali's sponsor. He's sponsored by Whitey Pies, so he's obviously he's had a couple of their pies this morning, and that's giving him the energy to set that rapid lap time.
Taylor Cochrane, maybe needs some of those pies. He's still only 6th. Gene Rawlinson, still only 7th. Stays there, 6 seconds off on that one. 2-pit exits, so to speak, here at Phillip Island. You saw on the right a car coming out of the lane. That was Sean Driver. He opted to run all the way down to turn 1. It is more or less the safer option. There's Sabo, crosses, and doesn't improve.
Yeah, that tip into turn 1, McDoon corner. Well, it's they couldn't have picked a better motor racing star to name that corner out of, because of course McDoon was one of the bravest guys on earth, I think. In that turn 1, well, whether it's on a motorcycle or in a car, it requires full commitment there, and there can be a lot of lap time gained and lost in that particular section. Here's Dan Patrick in the 7-Up machine. And oh no, he doesn't improve either, so he'll stay where he is with 3 minutes and 45 seconds to go in this qualifying session, so we'll get another lap in at least.
Here is Nicholas Lowndes coming through 11, coming through 12, onto the main straight, runs it up and over the curb, perfect line, coming out of the corner, lets it drift back to the left for the entry to 1, 26.7, that's a 1/10.5 slower. Then they need to improve their time, but 2.5 tenths away from moving up the spot, as Cochrane's done exactly that, found 4 spots, gone to second with a 1 minute 26.076, but still, crucially, 2 tenths away from Rahali on pole, provisional pole.
Well, that puts him on the front row of the grid, absolutely critical for the start of our first 25-minute race of the day, as we see Royce Rawlinson. It just almost sounds like you swap his name round, it would be very much a prestigious name, Rawlinson Royce. So coming over the line, 1 minute 27.2, he improves, but still 15th on the grid for Royce Rawlinson.
It was 0.08 of a second quicker than his previous lap. So lots of drivers are finding very small improvements late on in the session. It's a 30-minute session, so you get plenty of time to put your fastest lap down, which is why drivers might have found the limit on what they can do. As Matthew Giantini, 29.495. Well, that's not going to work out well. He'll stay 21st, ahead of Shapley, Bickley, and Lawrence. Lowndes is gearing up for another lap. In the draft, Cochrane.
Yeah, and Cockerton will see that. He'll see Lowndes in his mirror, and he'll know that Lowndes at the moment in 8th place, so he's an outside threat for the race. And it'll be interesting to see how motivated he is to tow Lowndes around. But here at Phillip Island, it's not certainly in this type of car. It's of course there's not really, apart from the front straight, there's not really that many straight parts of the circuit. No. So the towing effect is less so than it is at other circuits.
But GT cars able to follow quite close to each other through the bits where you have to actually turn the car, which does enable some quite close racing. Love some GT racing at this particular race track, as we see Giantini trying again to find that late improvement that he needs to put himself inside the top 20 through the back of the circuit. And down the main straight for Giantini. What's it going to be? Looking like it might be in the region of what he's done, and it's just shy. No, he finds a 10th, but the lap time, it didn't count. He picked up an off-track somewhere. That's a shame.
Yep, he'll have to go around. He'll get one more. Whoa, and that won't count either. So that's Matthew Giantini. He will not do better than 21st place. He's full commitment there going down into turn 1. So, until Rafael Sabo, our early championship leader, what can he do? He's currently in 3rd. Can he get up onto that critical front row of the grid for the run down to... Okay, I see. So he'll get one more.
Should do.
Just gets over the line, so he'll get one more lap time. So we'll need to keep an eye on Sabo.
Checkered flag. That's the session. We are not going to let them run.
My apologies, folk.
I couldn't remember either, to be honest with you. Let's take a look at our grid. We've got a rolling start. We've got plenty of time up our sleeves. Jeff Rahali on the pole. Taylor Cockenden will start on the outside of row 1, looking to stay out of trouble this time in race 1. Antal Rafael Sabo starts 3rd. Matthew Griffin from 4th. James Anderson and Stefan Bacardin on row 3. Then Paul Blomqvist and Gene Rollinson on the 4th row of the grid ahead of Nicholas Lowndes and Dan Patrick.
In 11th place, starting on row 6, will be Cameron Freeman alongside Jared Farrell. Row 7 will be Hayden Kirk and Braden Phillips. Row 8 will be Royce Rollinson alongside Sean Driver. Row 9 will be Joshua Andrew alongside Taylor Bryant. And row 10 will have Callum Pratt and Liam Matheson.
Last 3 drivers on the grid, Matthew Giantini. Last 4 drivers, sorry. Jonathan Shapley, Douglas Bickley, and David Lawrence. So, 2 25-minute races. The spread in the field, not that big. If you look from 1st to 10th, you'll find just a second. Remember, 2/10 of that second is in 1st to 2nd alone. Possibility potentially of a safety car intervention if there's a major incident. We saw that occur last week in our 2nd race, much to Cockerden's dismay and Sabo's pleasure, but neither of those results, I think, were hampered by it in any way, because they were both fast and they finished 1 and 2, much like their pace indicated. How's the weather looking for us, Peter?
Nicer than Scotland, I can assure you that. So the air temperature is 70 degrees Fahrenheit, air temperature, and 92 degrees Fahrenheit track temperature. So it's pretty cozy here at Phillip Island. Of course, when it heads more towards the fall and the winter time, it can get pretty cold because, of course, if you're looking down the Bath Strait, pretty much it's next stop Antarctica. So it can get chilly here at Phillip Island, but not so today.
You read that out as Fahrenheit, didn't you? It's 33 degrees Celsius for any of our Australian and NZ viewers. I mean, it is a New Zealand series.
My apologies. That was I was just reading off the graphic. I was being lazy. My apologies. I need to figure out how to convert it on the fly.
Change your iRacing settings. iRacing settings. I wish I could change my iRating settings.
That would be good. There's a good cheat.
Yeah, exactly. So coming up into one of the bigger overtaking opportunities on the circuit, Honda Hairpin. You get the run out of the southern loop. You're flat out through Stoner, which is that little kink right there. And then you can look up the inside. We've seen some major incidents at that corner as well over the years, most notably in supercars racing, with cars ending up on the grass, being unable to stop, and T-boning the poor soul heading through the corner. And then, of course, you come through Siberia, and it's a wild run through Hayshed and up into Lukey Heights, which opens a door for another potential overtake at MG.
So while we're on the pace lap, there's one driver we should mention, number 84 in the very striking Minion livery, and that's Paul Blomqvist, the son of the very famous 1984 World Rally Champion Stig Blomqvist, and brother of 2018 Spa 24 winner Tom Blomqvist. So quite a lot of speed in that particular family.
Remember, while we're watching this race, if you want to see where your favourite driver is, what times they're doing, and all that malarkey, no matter what we're watching, you can head to gsrc.tv. As pace car going to head out of the way, fueled on the hands of Jeff Rahali then. There goes the Porsche iRacing.com safety car. Wheel to wheel, door to door, 2x2. Let's stack them up. Let's get ourselves underway for race 1 of the evening. 2 races ahead of us, 50 minutes of action split into 2. They wait and they wait. Rahali holds them to the green. Green flag is out. Poor launch. And we go racing, but Rahali immediately struggling off the line as they fan out 3, maybe even 4 wide down into turn number 1. They swoop through at 200 kilometers an hour, and do they make it out the other side? Yeah, they do, just about.
What a great start from Matthew Griffin, our series organizer in the 999 Red Bull machine. Went round the outside, got a great launch, and he's up into second position. Brilliant start from the 999, and already, well, in true BMW driver fashion, he is flashing his lights furiously at the car in front as Blomqvist goes to the inside.
Cockett with the man caught napping. There's no around. Carries our race leader. Exit of Honda. Cockett spins as well on the distance. Someone else goes
Griffin's
into
off.
the gravel at Siberia. That's Griffin.
Oh dear, that's 3 of the biggest championship protagonists all off on lap 1. Well, it's all happening, Ryan, and look at that, Blomqvist, he is up to, I think, 3rd place right now.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, a great start from the number 84, brilliant stuff, and
now
it goes up the inside of MG. Oh, is that going to fit?
Oh, that's contact for sure. Did he save it? There's no way he did.
I think he did. He's
What
obviously
happened
learned
to
his car control skills from his father.
Yeah, so as we said, caution's out now, so the field's compressed. Jared Farrell was the one, I think, that managed to end up on the grass heading into MG. He did save it, but he was facing the wrong way on the apex of the corner. He'll be thankful the caution came out. Before he did that, he might be able to go and get a spot back. I think it was 3 separate incidents for those 3 drivers through Honda and into Siberia. We'll take a look at what happened to Jeffrey Harley, as he came out of the Southern Loop with a stellar advantage. But I wonder if he got on the power just too early coming out of Honda.
Yeah, let's have a look then. So he's getting him. Griffin's hard on the flashers, obviously trying to distract him. They head down into Honda. Oh, I think he gets contact.
Oh, he's got a hit,
he gets a little help from Griffin, and then Griffin and Cockerton get together. Oh, Griffin, dearie me. So that's Cockerton in the orange car there, and
Griffin, that
Griffin
car
in the Red Bull machine. Yeah, well, so Griffin handing out some big punches, and then all of a sudden, somebody else who was off screen there says, "Pick on someone your own size," and turfs him into the wall. So yeah, it's been a right old punch up here in this opening lap.
That was the spin, and good job from everyone to go around him. Down at MG. So far from being
65.
Yeah. Far from being 3 separate incidents, it was actually one incident that caused all 3 of them to go around. Just spread out over the course of a corner or 2, and then this other one for Farrell down at MG. That's an incident you normally see at Honda, getting onto the grass and not being able to stop.
Yeah, it's hard enough to stop on the tarmac going down into MG. Of course, you're coming over the crest of Lukey Heights and trying to brake, and it's like trying to brake on ice. It's horrible. You see so many accidents there. You see big lock-up, and yeah. Well, actually, I don't know if Matthew, there's certainly no malice there. Matthew Griffin didn't necessarily have anywhere to go, and then...
I reckon he had nowhere to go there.
Yeah, true. Yeah, my apologies. I apologise, Matthew. That's my fault. That's saying that you were handing out the punches. Well, I think he was actually, it was all happening around him.
A case of 3 into Siberia does not go. So what that means is a pretty big shake-up in our order. Sarbo's gone 3rd to 1st. James Anderson now sits in 2nd, having gained 3. Blomqvist has gained 4 to sit 3rd. Rollinson also +4. McCartan in 5th. Dan Patrick's up 4. Taylor Bryant is up 9 spots, sitting in 7th after starting 18th. And Liam Matheson is +10, sitting in 10th, started 20th. So massive efforts from those guys on lap 1.
Absolutely, yeah, that's big moves already from our drivers. Very, very impressive. But our championship leader, Sabo, he is at the front right now, and you see him there in that blue and black machine right behind the pace car, furiously trying to keep some heat in those tyres. Of course, these cars, they do have traction control, very sophisticated traction control at that, but They do not have anti-lock braking systems, and well, as we've seen, there's two very tricky braking zones here at Phillip Island into Honda hairpin and particularly into MG coming over Lukey Heights. So managing that brake pressure is very, very tricky.
And the end of the big main straight, interestingly, isn't so much as a braking zone as a gentle lift to the throttle and cruise through the corner before applying it for Southern Loop down at turn 2. So you're definitely right. Honda and MG, they're the two corners where you see the most overtakes. You can still get the run out of turn 12 though, and try and slingshot by, but a shake and bake into doing turn 1. But that Gardner straight can sometimes be just a little bit not long enough. No pit stops, remember, in this race either, unless you need to get some damage repaired. So we're going to restart with about 17 minutes to go, or maybe even 18 minutes to go if we get the pace car out of the way on this lap. Lights are still on for the Porsche.
Oh, we're going to go one time around, it seems at least. Waiting for the field. They're certainly neutralised. They're all together. They're all ready to go. Of course, I have to say, Ryan, I'm very pleased that we're using this BMW M8 instead of the M4. It's a wonderful machine. Of course, won this year's and last year's Rolex 24-hour at Daytona. And in fact, the winning car, the number 24 BMW this year, had Bathurst 1000 winner Chaz Mostert at the wheel.
It did. Something I've just seen as well is James Anderson's front end has seen better days. Pretty sizable amount of damage, actually. Certainly over the front right region of that BMW. So he might struggle a little bit for some top-end speed if that's knocked the engine. Gene Rollinson as well, with a bit of a knock to his front left. A few cars looking a bit second-hand then, after 3/4 of a lap of action.
Yeah, it's always so tight. Just bottlenecks coming into, particularly into Honda on the opening lap, and yeah, there's always opportunity for contact. I have to say, Anderson's car, although it's slightly deformed the front of his M8, it's certainly still a lot nicer looking motor car than some of BMW's recent efforts in the styling department.
As long as it's big, it works. That's the motto over at BMW. Certainly when it comes to the M8. They've got their smaller share of cars. The Z4 comes to mind. That's in iRacing as well.
That's a beautiful car, and one of the most amazing sounding motors in that car. Normally aspirated flat plane crank. Try and say that quickly. Normally aspirated flat plane crank V8 in that beautiful Z4 GT3, but a twin turbo motor. In fact, it's actually two 4-cylinder engines basically welded together to make this V8, and it's actually a surprisingly quiet car for a V8.
Yeah. I suppose that depends on how large your iRacing setting is as well, because every time I join a session with these cars, the volume's getting turned down. But certainly V8 land, you're right. They are a little bit quieter than certainly what I'm used to when it comes to a V8 here in Australia.
Absolutely.
As Antal Rafael Sabo in control. I think I heard a call that he has to wait for the iRacing green here so he can jump on that throttle pedal. So we're waiting just a little bit. We wait on green for the initial start as well. In, let's say, 3, 2, 1. There we go. Green flag is out. Sabo was sluggish. Blomqvist was not. They get faster and faster the further back you go. From 4th place, taking them 3 wide to the inside. Here comes Gene Rollinson, the reigning champ, looking to get the top spot away, but he can't do it. Sabo swoops around the outside and holds on, but my word, that was a little bit wild.
Yep, classic Phillip Island. There's so many different ways to get around the corners at a good pace, and that's what makes the racing here at Phillip Island so special and exciting as they come through the Casey Stoner corner and then hard on the brakes, trying to get the car stopped. A little bit of a lock-up there from Sabo, looking back to Rawlinson. Such a challenge for the drivers here, and Sabo, well, he's really wanting to go on a tear here. He's just pulling away ever so slightly.
He capitalized on that beautifully. Got a fantastic run as those three in front checked up. I think Blomqvist and Anderson were a little bit hesitant to try and go by Sabo. Didn't want to get a penalty for passing before the line. Whereas Rawlinson timed it absolutely beautifully. But he's not been able to go on with it. Sabo's driving away from him just a little bit here over the rest of the lap, and the gap's out to a second already, which means he shouldn't be getting overtaken down this main straight. In fact, none of these guys will. They've managed to put about 2 car lengths between each other. Look at how Blomqvist catches Anderson. I reckon that car is struggling a bit with that front end.
Yep, I think so. I think you're right. A little bit of a draft effect, but yeah, James Anderson not able really to get much of a draft effect of his own from the car in front. But I tell you what, that is exceptional from Sabo, setting a really quick lap straight off the pace car. Fantastic. As we see Blomqvist, he takes a look, and Anderson has to go to the inside, and Blomqvist goes past. Can he get it stopped? Oh, round the outside. Wow, what a move from Blomqvist. Fantastic.
Car around to the background. Hayden Kirk has looped him lazily through Honda. I think he might have got a touch. He was part of a very tight group of cars that also featured Lowndes and Phillips running side by side. Lowndes losing a couple of spots on this lap due to a mistake up at the southern loop as Dan Patrick's had an almighty moment, heading up into Lukey Heights, back onto the racetrack, and Lowndes left with nowhere to go.
Oh, and that Dan Patrick coming across, and poor old Nicholas Lowndes, absolutely nowhere he could go. And wow, look at the front of that car. It's it can happen so much here at Phillip Island. You get on the grass and you're just a passenger. So let's have a look what happened to Dan Patrick in the 7-Up car here. He just gets a little bit loose there on the inside and gets into a big old tank slapper, tries to hang on to it, tries to stop, and oh, Nicholas Lowndes nearly gets by, and I think that was Cockerton who just avoided it as well.
Andrew had to take to the grass to miss that, if I saw that correctly. Now let's point out that Patrick hasn't done anything wrong. You could see in that shot his tyres were locked up well and truly by this point. He was hard on that brake pedal, trying not to come back on the racetrack, but that grass is a bit like ice here in iRacing, and there was nothing he could do once he was there.